Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this month's Q&A video. This is the series where you can submit your questions about life, hobbies, wrestling, or anything that you want to know about over on the YouTube community tab. So if you want to be part of this video next month, make sure that you keep a lookout on the YouTube community tab because you can submit your questions there at the start of every month. I typically grab about 20 or so don't be mad if I don't pick yours because usually there's like 600 that get submitted. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's see what you guys sent in. Out of all of the WWE merch that you own, what is your favorite and least favorite that you have? This is easy. My favorite is definitely the championship belts that I have back here. These are clean, crisp, beautiful, especially the spinner belt. I love fidgeting around with this guy. My least favorite is also a championship belt. Some of you know that a couple of months ago, I did some WWE shopping haul videos where other YouTubers bought me a bunch of merch using my own money, and Small Afro bought me this Houston's Texans championship belt for like $800, by the way, that I have absolutely no use for. I think what I'm going to do is next time that there's a WWE show in the Houston area or somewhere in Texas, I plan on going. I'll bring this belt and I'll give it away to whoever can prove to me is the most diehard Houston Texans fan. What are your top 5 favorite wrestling matches from the Triple H era? I've never actually put any thought into this, so I don't really have like a top 5 off the top of my head, but I guess I could brainstorm some that are immediately going to be amongst the favorites in my repertoire. Definitely CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, specifically their Bad Blood Hell in a Cell match. That might be my favorite match of the Triple H era in general. I also have to throw in the WrestleMania 40 just insane main event of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I think that's going to be in the list of most people's list of favorite matches from the Triple H era. It really is the defining match of the Triple H era, by the way. Another recent classic that I would absolutely throw in here would be both women's matches that we've had this year, both Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at Evolution and Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 41. I think both of those matches are just perfection. Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash and Castle is also another like definitive Triple H era match because it was like within like the first 2 months of Triple H taking over, and for a long time that was seen as like the definitive match in the Triple H era. I would honestly also put in Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest at Backlash in Puerto Rico in 2023. It might be just like the entrance alone and the crowd, but it really was a remarkable showcase of what a celebrity is capable of doing in wrestling if they actually put some time and effort. Plus the freaking crowd doing a reverse concert for Bad Bunny is something that's just going to be completely unforgettable. It is a really recent one, but John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam 2025 is also going to go down as one of my favorite recent matches of the Triple H era. It was a tremendous match that was a perfect end to John Cena's championship reign. Even if they didn't get to do the full storyline with The Rock and Travis Scott, I really thought it was an awesome send-off for John Cena. Oh, how could I forget Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, the unsanctioned match that I got to watch live at Elimination Chamber this past year. That was an absolutely incredible match as well. So there's actually a handful of really solid matches that have happened during the Triple H era, more so than I can say in like the entirety of the 2010s. I feel like we are in a renaissance of like solid wrestling in WWE specifically. A lot of people will tell you that this is a down year for WWE. I think it is when you compare it to the last couple of years, but in general, I think the business is still as good as it's ever been in WWE. Best wrestling moment that you've witnessed in person. Okay, for me, it's 2. The first one is the John Cena heel turn. I know that it didn't end up being this grandiose thing that we're going to fondly remember. A lot of people are going to see the John Cena heel turn just overall as a mistake in general, but I was there. I got to see it. I have a ticket stub from the show. I have a chair from the show. It is one of the craziest moments in WWE history, and I was able to witness it with my own eyes beside Drake near the front row. The other one that I would have high up on my list is DIY winning the tag team titles at NXT TakeOver Toronto. It's one of those experiences where, yes, it was a great match on TV. Yes, the experience on TV was great, but being there in person to feel the energy and the pop of DIY finally winning the tag titles against the Revival in that amazing best 2 out of 3 falls match is something that like it's hard to truly genuinely describe. And then the other one that I was there live for, I was there for the debut of Bray Wyatt's Fiend character. I was there to see the very first entrance of The Fiend at SummerSlam 2019, I can still like feel the goosebumps from that night. I've been lucky and really fortunate to get to experience a lot of cool things live, and I hope to experience a lot more here over the recent years, especially here over the next 12 months, because I do plan on going to a lot more WWE shows and AEW shows. What got you into American football? Have you, or do you plan to attend a Super Bowl at some point? Okay, so if the Los Angeles Chargers ever make a Super Bowl, I am there. I will mortgage everything that I own to make sure that I'm there. So the answer is probably not, because they're probably never going to make a Super Bowl. But in terms of what got me into American football, it was the video game Madden. There was a stretch there in like 2004, 2003, and 2005 where like the game that we all played collectively as a group whenever we would visit somebody's house was always Halo. But then it changed to Madden out of nowhere. So then I had to kind of like learn what American football was, pick a team to play as, and learn like the rules of American football so that I could fit in and play Madden with my friends. So it was Madden that got me into it. What's your favorite book? Reading is for chumps, man. It's all about audiobooks. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't read a book in a long time, and I had to read like, I swear to God, like 3 books every single week when I was in university during my my dual degree. So I'm done reading for the rest of my life. At this point, I'm just audiobooks, baby. But jokes aside, my favorite franchise of books is the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin. Get to writing, you lazy piece of trash. If I have to pick one, I'm probably going to go with A Clash of Kings as my favorite one of the books of the, by the way, Song of Ice and Fire is the Game of Thrones books. Yeah, I'll go with Clash of Kings. Which wrestler's horrendous booking made you the most annoyed? Oh, dude, this is easy. Like Austin Theory. Austin Theory's booking over the last like year and like 5 months has been truly, genuinely atrocious. And it's just anger inducing because this is one of those guys that you know is talented, you know can be good, but they decided to saddle him with this long-term storytelling that just was unnecessary. Sometimes you can just do short, gratifying storytelling and get to the point, you know, and they never got to the point with Austin Theory. And now here we are a year and a half later, still in limbo, waiting for this ever elusive Austin Theory babyface turn. So Austin Theory, far and away. What made you want to start making videos on wrestling at the time that you did? Was it because the WWE was starting to boom at the time or something else? Also, if you had started making videos on wrestling before, what time do you believe it would have been best to? I do think in terms of the best time to make wrestling videos, it would be now, because in general, the best time to get into content creation is now, because it's so easy and so inexpensive to be able to make decent videos that don't look and sound like trash. So the best time to get into content creation in general, not even just like wrestling content, is now. But then you tack on the fact that wrestling is popular right now. People do want to hear fans talk about their opinions on wrestling in 2025. You compound that with the fact that it's easy to make videos in this day and age, and you have yourself the best time to become a wrestling YouTuber. In terms of like what made me start making wrestling content in general, it wasn't because it was booming. In fact, I technically started when it wasn't booming. I started making wrestling content in 2021 with a wrestling podcast, and then I started making TikToks, and then like all the TikToks that I was doing started getting like quite popular, and then I took that popularity from TikTok and I transferred it over to Twitch, and then I got popular on Twitch, and then I transferred the popularity from both over to YouTube when I started in 2023. Now, when I started YouTube, I would say that the boom of wrestling was just starting, because it was right after WrestleMania 39 that I started making videos on YouTube. So there was a surge of popularity of people looking things up on YouTube because wrestling was starting to become cool. But also I already had an audience when I started YouTube, because a lot of people do ask, like, how did you like get so popular on YouTube as quickly as I did? And it was because I was already popular on other platforms. I didn't start from scratch on YouTube. So it's kind of a bit of an unfair head start that I had. But in terms of the reason why I started is because I was live streaming to like 30 people playing video games back in 2021. I remember I was playing like Dark Souls and playing like Cuphead and really hard games. But within the chat, there were like 3 or 4 people that were really into wrestling that I could talk about wrestling with, because I was also really into wrestling. And because of those 4 guys, I decided to just like shoot a pilot of a wrestling podcast. And then that ultimately started slowly taking off, and it became what today is, which is kind of crazy to think about, you know, like that I've now been making wrestling content for 4 years. YouTube, not that long, but I've been in the space now for a decent little amount of time. Which event do you wish you had attended? I think for me, it's 2. And funnily enough, like both of them are Backlash Puerto Rico or Backlash in Lyon, France. Look, I would have loved to go to Clash in Paris, but I think that the Lyon show, Backlash 2024, was just better in general in terms of like the quality of matches that were there. And it was the first time that we were introduced to that insane crowd. So I would say Lyon, or being able to serenade and sing to Bad Bunny live in person would have been absolutely amazing. It's both of those audiences that I would have loved to be a part of. Yeah, there are amazing cards that I would have loved to see in person, like WrestleMania 40. That would have been sick too. But like, I got a great experience at home, but the experience of being around an amazing crowd is something that you can't really emulate on television exactly. So that's why I'm picking two shows that have had two iconic, legendary crowds. What's one WWE/wrestling moment you want to see live for the first time again? I would love to experience The Rock versus Hollywood Hogan again, live, in person, and in color. That to me is still one of the most crazy matches and wrestling crowds that you can truly be a part of and experience. The other one is One Night Stand 2006, to see what it was like to experience John Cena getting hated by everybody in the arena and people booing him out of the building. I think that would have been really cool. There's a handful of matches that I would have loved to see live, like Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2002, Triple H versus The Undertaker in End of an Era, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Getting to see that live would have been pretty awesome at SummerSlam 2025. So there's honestly like an infinite amount of answers to this question, if I'm being honest. Hi, Santi. I'm a new gen WWE fan who started watching in 2022. What matches do you recommend me to catch up? I would try and find like the definitive match from certain years or certain eras. I think like certain matches that are like required viewing are the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. I think you absolutely must watch Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25 specifically. We kind of talked about it, but if you want to see like a really unique experience of a crowd, John Cena versus Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand 2006, I think is also required viewing. I think to appreciate what a short match that can be a banger, so that you can appreciate short matches, I would watch Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam 2002. But honestly, just like the previous question, there is just so many matches here that it'd be impossible to give you like a definitive answer with an end. So what I would do is maybe just find the best match of every year and watch those. Hey Santi, I just wanted to talk about how you're doing in general. Are you happy with how your channel is doing and things? Are you happy with how wrestling is doing in the current situation and how your life is? Everything's cool. It's good to know these things sometimes. Hugs from Brazil. Thank you for asking. Life is good. I'm happy where things are. I'm very pleased with how the YouTube channel is doing right now, even if as of the making of this video, this is like the slow time for wrestling YouTubers. It's like this every year. Anytime from like August to like January, this is when wrestling YouTubers tend to get the least amount of views. But even then, I'm still doing pretty good. I'm still paying the bills. I'm still keeping a roof over my head, and I'm still able to do this as a full-time creator, so things are good from that regard. Favorite movie? I was just on a podcast that asked me for my 5 favorite movies, the Superplex podcast, if you're curious. It's already up and I'm there. They asked me what my 5 favorite movies are, and I confirm, favorite is different from what I think the best movies are, and I think I've narrowed it down, and it's actually a different answer than what I gave because I was kind of put on the spot, but I gave it more thought, and I would say that my 5 favorite movies are I Am Legend, the one with Will Smith, the original Saw, like Saw, the first one, Shrek 2, I think that movie is genuine perfection. Scary Movie 3 is a literal comedy masterpiece. And probably like The Departed, I'd probably have on there, but I might interchange that with like Forrest Gump. Besides Spanish and English, if you had the power to speak any other language, what would you choose and why? I mean, I would love to speak so many different languages, but I think the one I would try and learn would be Arabic. I had it planned for this year to try and take some lessons, and I still plan on it. Mostly because I do have a lot of friends that speak Arabic, but the main reason is that I have a huge viewership from the Middle East and Arabic speaking nations. So I think it would just be like a professionally good move to be able to communicate communicate in some very basic level to that part of the world, considering so many people watch my videos from there. What future WWE PLEs are you planning to attend? Right now, it looks like I'm confirmed to be going to Survivor Series War Games and John Cena's retirement. I'm lucky that I'm sponsored by Bovada Casino, and they want to do a project where I'm traveling to different sporting events around the world, and I may have convinced them to send me to John Cena's retirement and Survivor Series War Games. So right now, those are the two that are in the horizon, but we'll see. From what I've heard, they want to send me to WrestleMania 42, so we'll know. Santi, who would you say is the face from each of these eras? All right, so the golden era, definitely Hulk Hogan, not even close. The new gen era, I would say it's a tie between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. The Attitude Era, I would go with obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you kind of have to also bring back Hulk Hogan again because of the NWO. So I would go like Austin and NWO together. Ruthless Aggression Era, see, a lot of people want to throw John Cena here, but John Cena didn't really get going in the Ruthless Aggression Era until like 2005. When I think of the Ruthless Aggression Era, I think Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. Those are the two that immediately come to mind. Actually, Triple H as well. That was like during the era where he just wouldn't lose, the golden shovel era of Triple H. The PG era, for sure, John Cena. Reality era, 2013, 2016, I would have Brock Lesnar here as well, defeating the streak, just being an unstoppable force in the main event. The new era, I would definitely say Roman Reigns, and the Renaissance era, Cody Rhodes. Do you think AJ Styles wins a world championship before he retires? No, if they won't even give him an IC title, when it made perfect sense to give him an IC title, I don't think that a world title is anywhere in the books anytime soon, and he's so close to retirement, I just don't see it happening. Were you ever unsure if your channel would be successful, or did you ever think about quitting when you started? I've never once considered quitting at all when I started. I knew that if you just focus on consistency and delivered every single day and kept the promise that, you know, whenever you open YouTube, there's going to be a new Santi Zap video, that inevitably the algorithm was going to like that and push it to people and maybe find success. Now, was I expecting the success that I ultimately got? No, that I was absolutely never expecting that. But even though there's been ups and downs in my career on YouTube and on Twitch and all the other platforms that I'm on, I've never once considered quitting at all. I basically quit Twitter. I'll say that because Twitter is annoying as hell and it just messes with my brain because people are so fucking mean over there. But the other platforms that actually matter, I've never once considered quitting them. Do you play shooter games? If so, what shooter games do you play? So I used to play a tremendous amount of shooter games. Like I used to be borderline addicted to Call of Duty. Like I played game battles for Call of Duty 4, World at War, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I was on a competitive team in the early days of Modern Warfare 3 as well. So I played a shit ton of Call of Duty. I mentioned it earlier. We played a lot of Halo in the 2000s, but since like 2014, I've kind of dropped FPS games. I brought it back when I started playing Apex Legends when that came out, but basically since I've dropped Apex Legends, I haven't really picked up a shooter at all. And like I play every Call of Duty every single year, and I usually play for like 2 weeks, but it just doesn't hit the same, and my reflexes just aren't there anymore. I think at this point I'm too much of an uncle to be any amount of decent at shooters. I'm struggling to find your reactions on TikTok. Please, which account do you post reactions in? Okay, so this is hilarious. Obviously, I became popular because of posting my reactions on TikTok. As many of you know, I've gotten banned on TikTok because of copyright. I've had like 3 pages get knocked down. So I've stopped posting on TikTok. The pages that you follow on TikTok are not me. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this. I only post on Instagram and on Facebook. That's because TikTok just kept being annoying and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I gave everyone blanket permission to post whatever they want of my content, my YouTube videos, clips of my YouTube, clips of my live stream, my TikTok reactions from Instagram and Facebook. You can have them and post them on TikTok. I don't care. If you can find a way to grow a page with those, if you can find a way to get paid with those, go ahead. Just make sure that you keep my watermark and that you don't try and take credit for or try to pretend to be me. You can post my shit on TikTok all you want. So yeah, those TikTok pages, they literally are not me. So I have no control over where the reactions appear and where they don't. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode. I'll see you guys next month for the Q&A, but I'll see you here tomorrow because we post daily wrestling content. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.